Welcome back. Okay, so this video is going to be quite a long one because we know how to have the conversation, we know when our clients are triggered, we know how to bring the brain back online, and hopefully now when their brain's back online, we can ask our clients, how are they feeling? Now the thing with people that have been in a culture of learning and a culture of addiction is they've forgotten how to feel their feelings without acting out on the substance. So we teach them 5 feelings, the 5 core feelings. The first feeling is guilt and shame. Addiction is born in guilt and shame. When people are at the bottom, all they are feeling is guilt and shame. The next one is anger, sadness, fear, and joy. And what we're trying to do is get our clients to take responsibility for their feelings and to move out of guilt and shame into a culture of recovery. Now, a culture of recovery is made up of the ability of the client to be able to feel their anger, identify their sadness, acknowledge their fear, and move on to joy. Now, life of meaning and purpose should be filled with joy. Now, what we're trying to do is get our clients to understand that anger is an emotion that is used to create healthy boundaries. And we tie that anger up with steps 1, 2, and 3. Those of you that are familiar with the 12-step program, that's people, places, and things, getting structure. In the clinic, we have a program, we have a structure. If you hang around a barber shop, you're going to get a haircut, all that sort of stuff, where we get our clients to create healthy boundaries and to commit to their recovery, or what recovery looks like for them. Sadness is 4, 5, and 6, where our clients are going back into their past. How did they end up here? What's going on for them? It's the gift of sadness is compassion. And that's the ability to kind of sit with someone and to hold them in the space that they can share and feel that sadness, that loss. 7, 8, and 9 are about fear. It's about shit, what's going to happen? What's the future going to hold? How can I rebuild my relationships? I've become aware of myself and my defects of character. I'm willing to make amends, and now I've got to make those direct amends. It's really, really scary. So how can our clients learn how to identify their fear? And finally, steps 10, 11, and 12 are about growing up, maintaining the recovery, and that's about joy. So on a daily basis, what brings joy, meaning, and purpose into that person's life? What is the will for them, God's will for them, or what's that person's kokorozashi, which is what's their soul's purpose? Why are they here? And that's what we're trying to do, is to get a whole life experience for that person where they can identify those 4 key adult emotions. Now, often growing up, I felt a lot of guilt and shame when I felt anger, because what was modeled for me growing up was that anger is violent. So whenever I felt anger, I would suppress that anger, and my anger would move into the shadow archetype of the masochist. And then when I would kind of express that anger in a way of drunken stupor, for example, the shadow archetype of the sadist would come up in me. So I've had to learn how to identify my anger and to use it in a way using a warrior archetype that protects the village, that is there in service for good, and to create a kingdom that is abundant with a culture of recovery. If I move now to joy, I would often feel guilty, like if I've got money, for example, I'd often feel guilt and shame about having money because a whole lot of other people out there go without. And I've needed to learn how to, as a king in me, to manage the treasury of my kingdom. Now, when I don't do that, I can go into the shadows of the tyrant king. That's someone who loves using his power in a tyrannical way, or I can suppress the responsibility of leadership and move towards the abdicating king, the weakling, somebody who doesn't respond in a mature way to what leadership is and how it should be. Now, me personally, my biggest archetype is the magician. I have a lot of anxiety, and I haven't been able to express my anxiety. I haven't been able to ask for what I need clearly. I've always kind of gone down to the trickster manipulator or to the detached manipulator. So when I have fear, I need to learn how to express it and to get the gift of intuition with that. Now finally, compassion, grief, loss, sadness. The shadow archetype of that is the impotent lover. And if I don't bring out my compassion in my heart, but this is the thing that really got me, is the shadow archetype of the lover is the addicted lover. Now you'll see on the description, people, and a lot of people that have come from a culture of addiction have suppressed their anger into the masochist and the addicted lover place. So no wonder when people come into treatment or they start the process of recovery, it's about getting healthy boundaries and structure. There's a lot there. We've covered the principles of the 12-step work, and we've covered the 5 core feelings: guilt, anger, sadness, fear, and joy, and how we can integrate them into the archetypical stuff, which an archetypes run through any human being anywhere on the planet. And so whether you're a samurai warrior or you're a barbaric warrior, whether you're a magician, a sangoma, a healer of some sort, whether you're a lover, you know, what's that? A good archetype for a lover is Manuel, the Spanish lover, yeah? Or if we now move towards the feminine archetypes is what we talk about here, is the maiden, the free maiden. And when we go to the warrior, we talk about the mother, you know, the lioness that protects her cubs, to the sovereign, to the queen. And then in the magician archetype, it's the crone or the witch. Now, if you use the word witch, there's so much connotations around that. We're not interested in that. What we're interested in is, can we identify the 5 core feelings? Can we get our clients to realize that they're reacting to those feelings? Can we get them to learn how to contain themselves so that they can identify that feeling within themselves? And can they start to respond using spiritual principles? So instead of denying something, which is dishonesty, can they get honest about it? So when you say this to me, this is how I feel. So someone would say to me, you're really angry. I'll go, no, I wasn't. When actually I'm actually raging. And I've had to learn how to say, yeah, I'm really disappointed. I'm angry, and this is what I'm angry about, and what would be helpful if blah, 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 blah. But I was such a kind of a people pleaser, so scared of being abandoned again. I've had to learn how to integrate those feelings and to start to respond from the adult. So what we're trying to do in recovery coaching is to get our clients to understand what their ego state is, where they're at, and to get them to take responsibility for their lives. So if we talk about transactional analysis in the families that we have, we'll have critical parents or nurturing parents, rebellious children or adaptive children. And just like in the workplace environment, you're trying to get an adult-to-adult conversation where the person steps in the role, and whoever they are, that leadership and management and the relationship works from an adult-to-adult space, not a critical parent, not a nurturing parent. Because what happens in business is you'll get leaders that are, you must do this, you must do that, and then the workers go, fuck you, I'm not going to do that, or yes boss, yes boss. That's not healthy. What is healthy is when everyone comes, we're in this together, we've got to work on this together for the best of everyone. I know it was a long lecture and it's going to take a while to settle in, but it's great. But really what we're trying to do is integrate all the wisdom together and all the theory that creates a culture of recovery. Because in a culture of addiction, all the health professionals and everyone else argue amongst themselves of what's best and what's not working. Yeah. So this is really to kind of bring everyone together and surround it all in a culture of spirituality. It's like, guys, we really just want to do good here. What works for your clients and what's not working. So we come along and we model, we bring our authentic selves to this, so our clients can learn from us in the way that we're showing up. And in the rehab, we do the same thing. So our clients that are in here can learn and witness that by learning, by seeing. Yeah. So that's where we'll leave it today. Thank you very much for watching. See you soon.